Thank you all for listening to the first episode of the Brock Morris podcast. I'm going to be honest, guys. For the first 3 or 4 episodes, the video quality honestly isn't the best. The audio turned out well, but the video quality just wasn't there. Plus, I'm not going to lie, I'm nervous as crap talking to some of these people. But this is a podcast that I've been wanting to start for a while, and I think it'd be fun to learn from entrepreneurs and hopefully have y'all learn as well. And maybe it's not just entrepreneurs. Maybe I down the line, I freaking interviewed Justin Bieber. I don't know. Who knows? But thank you all for listening to the first episode, and please like and subscribe. That's it. Episodes hopefully coming weekly.
All right. Well, this is it. Well, the camera's probably not very nice, near as the audio, but we're going with the flow right now.
Bro, you're talking to Nikki T, dog. Grip it, rip it, and go, dude. I'm good, man. My very first podcast episode
recording stopped.
Was in a gym on like a fitness step up box with a microphone in the middle, and me and my homie talking about it. That's how I launched my show, bro. So
yeah, that's my honestly. I'm not gonna lie. I was going through I was chat GPTing it. I was like, shoot, dude, my audio sucks, my video sucks. Was like a loophole. It's something I can do. But honestly, I think just the best thing advice you can get is just start. So this is me just doing that, just starting.
Bro, so I got a whole guide that'll show you what mics I use and stuff. I have a whole podcast workshop for you. And I actually held that as like a live workshop here a couple months ago. But the thing is, dude, less than 95% of people won't even make it past their third episode. So dude, when you shot me to DM, dude, like I'll give you, dude, who gives a shit, man? You're doing it, it's like, and my belief is authentic content like this is the best anyway, dude. Yeah. So dude, it's like these wall panels are $50, bro. Like this mic's $200. That's it. That's all I do, dude. Exactly. This is a web camera that costs like $60, dude. I'm easy, man. So what's the show about, dude? So I know what the hell we're talking about, dog.
Yeah, it's just basically my goal here, honestly, is the whole consensus is shoot, dude. Like, I'm 21, and honestly, I don't have a clue as to where I want my life to go. And I think the whole concept of this show is that it's just kind of the figuring it out. And I think the goal is to interview entrepreneurs, as many as I can, such as yourself, hear their stories, and maybe I can take that as inspiration. And other people can get it as inspiration. I think that's the concept. It's just like not having figured it out. And I do think me keeping it raw just like this is going to be as authentic as possible. I think more people might enjoy that a little bit more.
You want to hear something funny, dude? I've had the big guy. I've had Ed Milet, Bradley, Sean Whalen on my show. Ed Milet was smoking a cigar on his iPhone on a golf course. Just, what up? I was like, this is my guy. Like, let's go, dude. Like, I think there's this misconception that it's got to be all fancy pantsy in the studio. It doesn't, dude. Like, it's just stepping stones. I think I must have done 60 episodes before I even walked into Casey's studio, So, dude, I admire the fuck out of you, bro. I really do, man.
I appreciate that. That's honestly where I'm at. I think another thing issue is like where like I get in my head, and it's like I think when people are starting out their business, they start to get in their head, and that self doubt comes, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's been a million I probably had this concept Sunday, and I'm just like my mindset's just like just start. So I'm starting it.
Yeah.
And within every day, I've been like, dude, should I do this? Should I not? Should I do this? Should I not?
Dude,
should I do this? Should I not?
I love it. Hey, dude, hit record. This is too good to not start your show. Let's freaking roll, dude.
No, I've been recording this whole thing, dude. I'm about to keep it.
Do you intro it? Or are you like, hey, welcome to the show? Or you just take all this shit and use it as the episode?
I think I'm just going to take all this shit and just use it, dude, for day one. I think.
Is this your first episode?
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. What do you, well, it's Nikki T time. Okay. What are you calling the show?
I think just the Brock Morris podcast.
Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. All you're gonna do is do you know how to edit a little bit? Like you're gonna take it up to, you know how to do that, right? All I want you to do is this. Yo, it's Brock. Welcome to episode 1 of the Brock Morris podcast. That's all I want you to do. And then we're just gonna start and be like, hey, I got on a guest today. Let's rip. And then you and I bing, 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 bing. That's all I need you to do right now. All right?
Yeah, dude. I've been recording this whole time since start. So I'll start the intro right now.
Let's do it. 3.
Yo, it's Brock. Welcome to episode 1 of the podcast. Today I'm interviewing Nikki T. I want to hear all about your story. I believe you do social media marketing. Is that correct?
I do, big dog. I do.
Hell yeah, dude. How
And
long
I
have you been doing that
surf
for?
and I like the Padres.
Hell yeah. I'm glad to hear it, dude. What got you into it?
I'm a business owner, man, and I realized it's 2025, man. I gotta be posting on social media to grow my business.
Yeah.
Uh, no, I realized very quickly that social media is just a vehicle to meet new people, share my
Mm,
voice, share my message, like you're doing, dude. Create content and stuff, and then do it my way. I
mm,
realized that I hated social media or the way people were treating it because everybody was all fancy pantsy in front of like Lamborghinis and stuff, dude,
mm,
and it felt so disingenuous to me. So I grew my hair out, grew my beard out, started talking about surfing and life and motivation and business. And I started talking about things that I love. And then
mm.
I fell in love with social media as a vehicle, dude. Because
Yeah.
I think, Brock, you can just be yourself, dude. And I think you can be authentic and share your successes and share your failures and your fuck ups and your mistakes and everything in between. And somebody out there needs to hear that. One of my favorite quotes of all time, dude, is from Ed Milet. He says, "You are best prepared to help the person that you used to be."
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, Brock, I create content for 21-year-old me, which ironically, that's you, big cat.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got into business when I was 19 years old, dude. I dropped out of college to start a business. And I realized recently that I just built myself into the mentor I never had, dude. Like, not douchey, just a cool, laid back surfing, skating guy that makes a whole lot of money. And I get to talk about that. I drop F bombs. I'm real. I love Jesus. I love sobriety.
Right.
And I started talking about the things that I enjoyed. And so, yeah, dude, I just create content for previous me. And then ironically, young cats like yourself show up and say, man, I needed to hear that today. And I'm like, bro, I probably needed to hear it first, So, like, I'll share quotes and they're quotes that I needed, And
Mm.
so that's what I do, bud.
Why social media? Like, why was social media marketing the thing that you chose to go for, as opposed to starting like a brick and mortar or real estate? It seems like everyone and their mother's doing real estate nowadays. Why was it social media marketing was the thing that you wanted to do?
Well, Brock, I'm gonna throw you a curveball, dude. I owned a brick and mortar real estate office. I owned two of them actually.
Okay.
I've sold 3,000 houses in real estate. I wrote a
Mm-hmm.
book about it in a previous lifetime. I got into real estate when I was 19 years old, dude. Actually, so I did it. I did the cash flow. I did fix and flips, man. I've made $25 million in the real estate space, is what I
Mm-hmm.
did. So I had brick and mortar. I built a seven-figure per year business before I even had social media, dog. When I was 25 years old, I sold 225 homes in 1 year and made $1.5 million. I didn't get to keep it all. So I'm not one of those guys. Like, look at what we made. People are so dumb, dude. That was our gross, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had an office, I had three assistants, we had office space and marketing and stuff. But no, dude, like, I lived it. I lived high overhead, I lived brick and mortar. Because you have to understand, dude. So I'm 40 now. 20 years ago is when I got into business, dog. We had to have landlines, bro. Like my office setup had to have like real desk, a fax machine, and all this
Mm-hmm.
crazy stuff, dude. Like we had to have that. So dude, I had brick and mortar and stuff, and I did all traditional stuff though, Brock.
Yeah.
Like I had a radio show, I ran newspaper ads, I had Jerry Springer do a television commercial for me. I used to run TV ads valley wide.
Mm.
Dude, I've done pay per click, Google. I've seen it all. But from somebody that has been a marketer forever, if you don't see social media as a marketing tool, you just crazy to me,
Mm.
bro. So like I don't believe in just posting and dancing on TikTok, dog.
Yeah. Exactly.
I do like I'll record videos and we run those as paid ads. And so I used to do a lot of pay per click stuff on Google and we used to buy leads and stuff. And so that's what I use social media for because everybody's on social media. 5.2, what, 5.25 billion active users every day or
Mm.
something like that. Maybe I butchered the stat. Somebody hit me in the comments. You're wrong on that. Whatever. It's close. That's just where they're at. Right. And
Mm.
it's like you go with the fish jar. Like previously, dude, 20 years ago, I was running newspaper ads and postcards to old folks and old folks communities in Phoenix, Arizona, snowbirds and stuff, dude. Like we used to help Canadians buy homes and snowbirds and stuff. You just go where your fish are, dude. And like if that's where the fish are, well then just go fish there. No matter what your business is, man. What's funny is like even home service guys, like local pest control companies and stuff I've helped their clients are there because the mom is on social media, the grandma's on social media. And so to me, like that's why social media. And what's wild is the barrier to entry. Like you as a young cat, dude, like I'm gonna blow your mind real fast. You could record one dope video or take a clip of this show
Mm.
and run that as an ad and have 100,000 people watch that in the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like that's wild, dude. Like
Mm.
I had one video we had paid to promote. It had 50,000 views in 2 days. And I was like, dude, that's 50,000. That's an arena. Like,
Yeah.
whoa. And so to me, that's pretty cool stuff, dude. Right. And like, if you can learn that tool, like as a tool. So for me, when somebody's like, oh, social media, I'm like, yeah, dude, but not to like post your workouts, like not to do
Yeah,
cold
exactly.
plunges and tell people about it, like to reach people. But more importantly, though, to impact people, dude. Like, somebody out there wants to hear really good advice. I do. Like, dude, I have videos saved on my phone, like saved on TikTok or whatever,
Mm.
of like have altered my life, like
Yeah.
altered my brain chemistry.
Mm.
And like it was so funny, dude. I'm on the side of TikTok where it's like all these healthy and like healthy meals and stuff. And like making like keto pancakes out of like bananas
Yeah.
and protein and stuff. And I'm like getting shredded because some dude in his kitchen gave me some game on Greek yogurt, and
Mm.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So to me, I think social media, if you do it in like the coolest way possible and just a really cool person, people appreciate that, dude. And so that's what I do now, man, is it's just a fast way to help people. Like I've always just wanted to help people. And we do that for business owners, dude. So all I've ever wanted was for me to grow my business and to teach my friends how I'm doing it, just share the cool stuff. That's all I do now is I just share cool stuff with my friends, and more friends come back and want to learn more cool stuff, man. So
Mm. Oh, I
did
love
that
that.
answer that? That was a long answer to that question, but yeah.
No, no, it's amazing. So what exactly, why did you decide to leave the real estate game and go inside the marketing game? It seems to me
Bro,
that it seems like you've been doing it your whole life, but
yeah.
and it sounded like you had to establish a real estate business. You're selling 200 homes. You made $1 million by 25, I believe. So why did you decide let's step away from real estate and let's go for social media marketing?
Brock, that is the best question an interviewer could ever ask on a show.
It's
God
really.
had a different plan for me.
Mm.
Brock, I had a tumor when I was
Oh wow.
32 years old,
Okay.
and it was on the middle of my spine. And at 32 years old, 2 days before Christmas, I collapsed to the floor and I was paralyzed from the waist down.
Hmm.
And I had to go to the ICU and have a 9-hour neurosurgery. And I was in the ICU of the hospital for a week and a half. And Brock, I had everything that everybody said I should ever want in life: a successful business, 25 employees. We were fixing and flipping homes. I was making a lot of money. I had a house. I had a girlfriend. I had the dogs. I had what everybody defined as the white picket fence in life. And bro, when you're laying in the ICU with people dying around you, and it's just you with tubes out of your arm. I had a tube out of my spine, and I was hooked up to IVs. When people are dying around you, bro, you start looking at your life, and I started looking at like, what had I done, man, and like, what did I really want to do in life? And Brock, I realized life was really, really short, man,
Mm.
and I felt I had reached what I wanted to accomplish in real estate, but I had always just wanted to help people, man, through entrepreneurship, through content, and so,
Mm.
dude, like I left everything. I sold my house. I sold my business, and I moved from Phoenix to San Diego and grew my hair out, started surfing, and took some time off to find myself. I did a trip up the West Coast.
Mm.
I did every beach in California. I slept on the beach, places, went up to Oregon, Washington, dude, just trying to find what I wanted to do in life, man. And on that journey, God and I had a conversation about sharing my voice and inspiring other people to share their voice. And dude, I started a seminar business. I started speaking and helping people and teaching people, and started inspiring people to share their voice. So when I got your DM, young man, I didn't tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this now. My mission in life is helping people have a voice, dude, and sharing their story. So when you DM me and said, "Yo, dog, you want to come on?" I said, "Say less. Let's fucking roll,
Yeah.
bro." Because that's what I left. I left a successful businessman, and what's interesting is at the time I think that business defined me, and bro, like I believe now a business shouldn't own you, you should own it, and it should allow you to live your life, man. And did I love surfing, man? Well, my business was in Phoenix, man. So come here and start surfing in San Diego now. And I travel a lot, and I developed a little bit more of an online business, man, versus this brick and mortar. There's nothing wrong with that, dude. Real estate was great. I had a great time with it, man. I got a bunch of friends that do it, but for me, man, it was just life threw me a curveball,
Yeah.
and I wanted to try something new, man. And I moved here to San Diego for 30 days. I said, well, if it don't work, I'll just go back.
Mm.
And dude, we're 7 or 8 years later, you're just living life, man, and having fun. And I help a lot of realtors still, which is cool, but I just wanted something new, man. I wanted a new challenge, and I'm loving it, dude. And it's just crazy when like real estate was more about me, dude. You know, like I was making money and stuff, and now it's about we. What do they say? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And bro, I got 80 business owners that I coach now in my inner circle, and so like I'm watching them make money on what I learned from real estate. Like I'm
Yeah.
watching them take my marketing systems and run them in my email marketing and all that stuff. And now we are winning, and the table got bigger, and a bunch of people are eating at it, and it's just fun, man. I'm more fulfilled now than I was then. Like I'd fix and flip a home and make 50 grand or whatever,
Mm.
or sell a home like I was a traditional realtor. And now, dude, like I'm teaching my friends stuff and watching them win, and we're helping them run ads and stuff. And I just fell in love with marketing for some reason, man. I fell in love with this art of like digital marketing, online courses, technology, email marketing, sales funnels, ads, content podcasting like you're doing. Just fell in love with it, man. I enjoyed it because it gave me a voice,
Yeah.
and it gives you a voice, dude. And I see you and I admire you for out sharing your voice, dog. So this is my second really long answer to one of your questions, but that's why I left real estate, dog. I never thought in a million years I would, I thought that that was what I was going to retire doing, and God had a different plan for me,
Mm.
my guy. So, but in that journey, man, I found myself, I got closer to God. I found sobriety. I found health and fitness. I just fell in love with that, dude. Which is dope, man. So for me, looking back, I wouldn't change the accident for anything because it really shaped me. And one of my favorite quotes in life is never trust a lion without a scar down his face. And what does that mean to me is a lion that's clean and pretty, he ain't seen nothing. He just lays back, But a lion with a scar down his face and he's missing an eye, that dude's seen some shit and he's been through some battles. And dude, I got a honking freaking scar down the middle of my back, bro.
Mm.
And it's just a representative of where I've been and more importantly, where I'm going. Cause I learned really quickly how short life is, dude.
Mm.
But like since that journey, dude, like I started traveling a lot and, did a bunch of bucket list trips and just started looking at life a whole lot differently, man. And yeah, dude. So that's why I changed.
I think the biggest thing I heard you say is that you found your purpose is to give people the voice. What was the
Yeah.
steps? Many people just like me, myself, 21 years old, that's trying to find their purpose, that's struggling to find their purpose. How did you manage to find your purpose?
Dude, I haven't found it yet, brother. This is a lifelong battle. You know, it's funny. The purpose that I thought I had today was probably different than it was 30 days ago. And if you ask me the same question again in 2 months, it's going to be different too. But I'll tell you this, you have something you want to do in your heart, just go do it and try it. That's why I admire what you're doing with the show. You're like, hey, it ain't going to be perfect, but I'm going to try. I'll give you a story on that, right? Like, I wanted to be near the beach. I couldn't afford like a $5 million mansion. So, dude, I rented a studio in the back of some guy's house in Ocean Beach, California. It was 2 grand for the month. It was tiny, it was ugly, and it had a little garden outside, and it was like 4 blocks from the beach. Cool. So, what am I out? 2 grand? Okay. So, I did that for 30 days, dude. And then I started walking the beach and started connecting with nature and getting outside and finding what I wanted to do. And dude, I started recording content in this guy's garden in his backyard. There was like a tiny little flower bed and like a little fountain, dude. And if you go back to like my early podcast, for those that don't know, in San Diego and Ocean Beach, we call it the OB pause because the planes leave and they fly overhead. And dude, on my early episodes, all you hear is, it's so fun. And dude, I'm in the back of this guy's house, just, terrified about what I'm going to do in life. And just, I'm talking about things that I thought would help people do it. And so little did I know now I'd be doing that like for a living. And then, dude, I was just ripping little videos, walking the beach, like chase your dreams, man. Like,
Yeah.
and how do you find it? Everybody knows some part of them what they want to do, right? But then we don't take like I was talking to a kid and I said, well, what's your dream? He's like, well, dude, it's kind of big. And I go, well, you're talking to me. So like, what is it? And he goes, dude, I want to move to Thailand. He's like, I want to move to Thailand. I want to study abroad and I want to become like a remote, sales guy. Go. He's like, wait, what? I was like, just go. Because you go, you learn some stuff. So you fail, you come back. Guess where you end up? Right where you are now, with a ton of really cool stories and a couple stamps on your passport, some badass photos of iconic Thailand. That's the point that I'm trying to make is just freaking go. Dude, this video popped up on my FYP on TikTok. And it was a guy, he just packed a bag and he's like, where are we going today? He walks into the airport, dude, and he like walks up to British Airways and he's like, where are you flying in the next 3 hours? And he looks up and he's like, okay, bank. And he's da da da. And he goes, I'm going to London. Boom. And he gave her $500.
Yeah.
12 hours later, he's in London. And it's like, what an experience. He's having a pint, you know, and having a beer somewhere, go to Ireland type thing, you know. And I think a lot of people already know what they want. Dude, this is wild. I went back and gave a speech at my high school 6 months ago for Career Day. I'm from a tiny town, bro. Tiny town. And so they invited me back to talk at Career Day. And I gave a speech and dude, each kid at 17 years old came up to me and knew exactly what they wanted to do in life. I'll give you an example. It's a 17-and-a-half-year-old girl. She walks up, she goes, Nick, I want to be a woman. I want to be a female firefighter. And here's what she said. My mom and dad told me I can't. So I think a lot of people know what they want to do, but when you tell somebody around you your big goals and dreams, their limiting beliefs dim your shine and convince you that you shouldn't do that. I'll tell you this. You want to hear something wild, dude? When I left real estate and moved here, close friends, family, colleagues, you're a fucking moron is what I heard. Excuse my language. Nick, you're a fucking moron. This is the biggest mistake of your life. One of my closest friends, I give you 6 months before you fail and come back with your tail tucked between your legs. These are my close friends, dog. Like I was a success. Dude, up until like even a few years ago, before they started seeing me on big stages and my big conferences, it was, hey, Nick, I really think you're still making a mistake. You should get back into real estate. So why do I say that? Dude, an 18-year-old kid, a 21-year-old kid like yourself, we have these. Everybody knows what that goal is, dude. This was a 17-year-old girl. She knew exactly where she was going. She knew exactly where she wanted to go. So we have these dreams, yet somebody who has a small mind, nothing wrong with them. They love you. They just don't want you to like get hurt. They don't want you to fail. And I get it. My friends and family, they just didn't want to see me hurt or fail. Well, you got to take that risk. So like, you know where you want to go, dog. Like you have a vision for your show. You have a vision for your content. Just my belief is at least go try. Get in the arena and try. One of my favorite quotes of all time. Have you ever heard the man in the arena quote?
No, I have not.
By Teddy Roosevelt. I'll just sum it up. Google it. It's man in the arena. In essence, the summary is, I got nothing but love and appreciation for the guy that's in the arena with his face marred with blood and dust because he's in the battle. It's all it simply is. And it's like, you can tell me what I should do from the cheap seats. Brock, you could tell me I should have caught that wave differently by sitting on the sandy shore, sipping a Mai Tai, enjoying some sun, getting the cold water. There's sharks out there. The waves suck. Like, come on, bro. Like, get in the game, man. And I think as anybody trying to find their purpose and their passion, I would look at what you're already passionate because most people already know what they're passionate about. Like, I want to be a fitness influencer, whatever. But then we stop because we're going to say that to somebody who doesn't believe you could do all this wild shit. I've already seen it, dude. Like, you could kind of pretty much do anything you really want to do as long as you're passionate about it. It's going to take time. It's going to take energy. It's going to take money. It's going to take commitment. It's going to take getting embarrassed and all the above. But me 7 years later, you know, the same people, Brock, that told me I was an effing moron are now sitting in my conferences looking up.
And how do you
I'm
get
not
in
trying
that
to say
headspace?
that.
There's a lot of people.
What's that?
Not to cut you off. There's a lot of people who want to go after that thing, but many people. I'll be the first to admit. I definitely care what other people think. How do you get away from not caring about what people might say? 'Cause there's a lot of people I guarantee that probably want to post on social media that want to do that big thing, but they're afraid as what their best friend might think, what their mom might think, dad might think, whatever. How do you get over that hurdle?
Surround yourself with 4 other people that are doing wild shit just like you. And you guys all lift each other up, man. You are the product of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. If you and I hang around 5 millionaires, guess what, Brock? You're going to become the 6th. Yeah. If we hang around 5 guys that have great marriages and put their wives on a pedestal, guess what? You're the 6th. If you hang around 5 bad dudes that just go partying all night long and run around on their family and don't do anything, they're lazy POSs, you're just going to fall into that line as well, right? If you hang around 5 content creators that are all blowing up on social, guess what? You're going to be right along the same line. And so it's the power of influence, right? And who you spend the most amount of time with. So I try to create a lot of content that helps people. I'll try to unload as much as I can here. And also I think just understanding that they're not you. They don't live your life, dude. Like at the end of the day, when you lay your head, guess who's sleeping with you? You, dog. Yeah. You know, and it's like in your heart, in your mind, like I look at it this way, man. Like if I didn't take the shot, how would I feel in 10 years?
Exactly.
How would I feel in 10 years if I didn't take that shot and I had to look my kids in the face and say, well, Dad, you had the opportunity, but you didn't try. Why didn't you try? Oh, because I listened to a hater online. And I'll tell you this, dude. The only way to learn to surf, Brock, is to get in the water, homie.
Yep.
That's the only way. The only way to learn to create content is to create it. Like everybody wants to study and do this chalkboard talk. Take that surfing analogy. You could watch every surf video on planet Earth, dog. The water's colder than you're expecting.
Yeah.
Like you could talk about creating content. That's why I love what you're doing. You're like, dude, I got no studio. I got no mics. Let's roll. Rip it, baby. Let's go. Because you'll learn more by doing, homeboy. And like, here's what I found. When I first started ripping content, you know what a guy said to me? This was a bad one. I had put out a video. He's like, oh, Nikki T and your motivational shit. Who do you think you are, Tony Robbins? Wow, man, thanks for the love and support. Well, now people are like, hey, man, I really needed to hear that. You changed my life. And I'm like, wow, that's cool, dude. Glad I didn't listen to that guy. And I think you learn everything, dude. I call it the 100-day rule. I'm sorry. I don't call it that. There's a thing called the rule of 100. Like I call it the 100-day rule. If you just did something for 100 days straight, on day 101, you're a fucking savage at it.
Yeah.
Let me explain what I mean. If you created one video per day for 100 days, on day 101, you'll never second guess your ability to create content again. If you went and worked out for 100 days straight, on day 101, you're going to be really, really fit and feel good about it. If you did 100 podcasts in a row, you feel good. You see what I'm saying there? If you did 100 days of writing, 100 days of running, 100 days to train for a marathon, insert the thing. What happens is we have imposter syndrome, Brock, till we actually go do it. Then it's fact. It's fact. It's it. So like when you go, oh, well, hey, I talked about creating content. I went and did 101 videos. Well, look, I actually have created content. I actually have 10,000 followers. I actually have this, and I've actually monetized it. Now it's fact. So that's how you eliminate imposter syndrome is you don't talk in theory. You just talk in straight fact. And that's the coolest thing. You can't tell me I'm wrong for my journey because I lived it, right? Like you could say what you want about me, my looks, the way I talk, all the above, but you can't take away facts, right? So like, let's say you go, dude, I'm going to do 100 episodes of the show. Okay. Well, you're going to learn a whole lot in the process. And then it's just fact. But here's what's interesting is it becomes your identity, dude. I'll give you a funny story, man. I was a college football player, like big buff college football player. Right. And after my accident, I gained a ton of weight and then I lost all my body. Like I looked like shit. So, dude, I got an idea to run a marathon on my, not 1 year, I think it was my 2-year anniversary of my tumor. I wanted to run a marathon, 26.2 miles. Okay. It's COVID. There's no marathons running. So I created the Nikki T one-man run your own damn marathon, clap for your own damn self marathon. I just got on my GPS, dude, and I tracked out circles of 26.2 miles and I ran 26.2 miles on a Saturday alone.
Just no training is out of the blue?
No, this is what I'm getting at is 60 days, I think it was 60 or 90 days prior, wasn't a runner, could barely run, you know, it's coming out of a tumor, being paralyzed, dude. And I was like, fuck it. Google, how do you run a marathon? Well, dude, there's a ton of free content out there. And then it was, how do you train for a marathon? How do you eat? And then there was like goo gels or something that you had to like run with and like eat as you're running and all this weird stuff. Dude, 90 days later, Nikki T ran his own little marathon. Yeah. Like I became a runner. The point I'm trying to make is 90 days prior, could barely run 2 miles. 90 days later, 26 miles in a day. And now my identity is I'm a runner.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? In 90 days, 100 days, you are now a podcaster. You are now an author. You are now a content creator. You are now fit. You are now sober. You are now the thing. And I'm just so big on get in the game, get in the water, paddle out, and go freaking do it for 100 days straight. And then you're going to realize you either love it or you hate it. But you can tell people from fact that I lived it, I breathed it, dog. You know what I'm saying?
I think I love that you say that. I think what I'm getting at or what I'm hearing from you is just starting. I think a lot of people exactly that. You mentioned this earlier is that mental hurdle in your head. And then they look up how to do that thing. And there's a million things. How to start a social media marketing business, how to run a marathon, how to do this, that. And I think a lot of people get overwhelmed and they don't know where to start. That's kind of how I felt about this podcast. If I look up how to start a podcast right now, I'll see a million different YouTube videos and then I get overwhelmed because you're like, oh, I don't have all this fancy equipment. I don't have all this. I don't know how to market for social media. I don't know how to do it. You know, I think what I hear from you is just starting, and I think that's
Dude,
really the key.
yeah, man, I'll give you a funny story on that. Like, I grew up watching I'm from a single wide trailer in the middle of a prairie,
Hmm.
like in the middle of nowhere, dude. And like my dream was to surf, dude, as a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I watched the movie Point Break with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. And so, dude, like I moved to San Diego. I got no freaking clue, dude. And like one Saturday morning, I went to Play It Again Sports. True story.
Mm.
I bought a used wetsuit for 79 or 89 bucks, and I bought a foamy board, dude, for like 200 bucks. And I like started like
Yeah.
I damn near drowned in the middle of the water, dude. You know what I'm saying? 6 months later, funny story. I'm surfing on like a big day, a really big wave. And dude, I am on the wave. I fall. I whack my nose on my board. I break my nose. My nose
Mm.
is crooked. I shatter my nose in half, right? Come out of
Yeah.
the water, gushing with blood. Whacked it on the side of the board. I go to urgent care and I had to get stitched. I don't know if you can say I had to get stitches. Guy sets my nose and the doctor starts smiling and laughing at me. And I go, "What are you laughing at?" And he goes, "Welcome to the club, son." I go, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Did you catch the rail of the board?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Wipe out, didn't you?" He goes, "It was a big day out there." And it was. And he's like, "Did your nose hit it?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "You fell forward?" I go, "Huh?" And he goes, "Dude, look." And he's showing me his scars. And he stitched me up. He goes, "Welcome to the club, man. You're a surfer." And I just went, "Dude, I am. Oh my God." Like I fell down.
Mm.
And yes, you could have critiqued me. But you know what, Brock? I fucking tried, man.
Yeah.
Like I was out there. I was out doing it. I was in the water, man. And you can't take that away from me. And you know what's funny now? Like that scar is such a representation of trying. I shot on the wave. I failed. Okay, whatever. And now I'm out there ripping. Like it's all good, dude. But like so many people are just afraid to get in the water, dude. And like the simplest analogy. You want to learn to run? Tie your shoes. Tie the dirty Nikes that you have. You don't have to study the best. This is like this will sum it up, dude. This is why I love you. Somebody wants to learn to run a marathon, they'll study the best running shoes and the best Lululemons, the best workout equipment. Tie the dirty Nikes that you have in your closet now and go run 2 miles. It's
Yeah.
not rocket science. For you, dude, you have an iPhone. You're like, fuck it, Nick. I got an iPhone. Let's go. You know
Mm.
what? Nobody can take that away from you. You
Exactly.
shot me a cold DM and said, "Nikki T, you coming?" I said, "Say less, dog. I'm on." Because you had the balls to ask me. Let's
Yeah.
go, dude. Like, to me, I think you're living it, dude. And I think a lot of people listening can take note from what you're doing, and it's not perfect, it's far from it. You know what? But you're doing it though. Do
Mhm.
you know how many millions of people, dude, right now? I have an idea for a show. They get off on it, dude. They want to go tell their friends at happy hour, like, I'm gonna create content, I'm gonna start speaking, I'm gonna start a podcast. Brock's like, "Bro, hold my beer. I'm starting a podcast." And I started. And here's episode 1. And you'll learn more by going through the process of uploading this to Apple and Spotify and
Yeah.
getting the
Exactly.
clips. And you'll learn more by doing than any YouTube tutorial could ever teach you. But nobody can take the fact away from you. You are live recording a real episode of your show. You
Mm.
can't take that away.
Yeah.
And you do
Um.
5 more of these, you'll be a savage, dude. So
I really appreciate you. I hear you talk about Jesus a lot, and I'm just curious. Have you always been close to Jesus, or did he kind of come into your life later?
dude, always kind of like a surface level,
Mm.
kids, we'd go to church as Easter and Christmas and stuff. And as kids, you'd go to Bible study and stuff. But man, I'll tell you, you get real close to God when you're laying in an ICU thinking you're gonna die, you know.
Uh-huh.
And ever since then, I've kind of really worked on my faith, and that relationship, if that makes sense, man. And I've learned, and I'm learning. I'm not good at this, dude. And like I just know when I just need to talk to God a lot more. That's
Yeah.
all I know. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man. So it's a part of my identity, dude. Like I was stressed about some work stuff and some life stuff, and Sunday morning popped up, and I was like, I can't handle this on my own, dude. Put on a button-up shirt and went right to church, bro. You know, I was like, I literally physically walked in, Brock, and I got on my knees and I started praying for help, man. And that's just my beliefs, dude. You
Yeah.
know, God's brought me a lot of things, and gave me my legs back, gave me my sobriety, which I thought was a really big deal. And yeah, man, it's just a cool little relationship that I have, man. So
Yeah. How do you keep in your business? Do you include him in everything that you do in terms of business
what's that?
wise? How do you keep Christ center in your business?
I think it's everybody's got their own relationship with it, right?
Hmm.
Like, for me, like I do a lot of one-on-one praying and stuff. And like
Yeah.
I think I make personal decisions on that, like we don't come out and, as a business, like, oh, we're a faith-based company type thing. And
Mm.
I get it, like some people do that or whatever. I have my relationship. Like I don't talk about my sobriety a lot. Like
Yeah.
when you become a homie, like you'll understand, like I drink seltzer waters and stuff, but like I don't put my values on anybody else. That's not for me to do. I'm myself and like, yeah, dude, like I'm praying on a business move that I want to make right now. And like, spending time with God in that, is a
Mm.
good thing, So that's how I do it, man.
Yeah. And then for those that want to start a social media marketing company just like you, what advice would you have? How do you not clash with the other social media marketing? Because it seems to me when you look up San Diego entrepreneurs, that's what I've been doing. I see a lot of people that own social media marketing companies. How do you not clash with all of
The way you makes you unique, brother. You think
them?
anybody's got a big red beard, long red hair, and rocking a San Diego's Padre hat on stage with pride? No,
Mm,
dog. That's me, though. You think
mm,
anybody else is a young 21-year-old hustler that's got the balls to DM me on Instagram to come on a show? No. Embrace your uniqueness.
mm,
Just everybody's individual. And that's the thing you have to understand is, dude, there's people that are 10, 20 years ahead of you. That's their chapter 20. You're on your chapter 1. You can never run their race, dude. Like,
mm,
don't compare yourself to any fool on the internet because you're not them. Like, that's the coolest thing about social media, brother. That's a level playing field, man. Like, I've seen people come out the gates and go make 50 grand in a month, right? Like
mm,
from scratch. That it's a level playing field. That's why I love it. The gym is a level playing field. Like,
mm,
no matter what you do, I can't walk into the gym, Brock, and look at a dude that's 10 years ahead of me competing on stages as a bodybuilder and wonder why I'm not him.
mm,
He's 10 years ahead. I'm in my own journey, bro. So how do you compare yourself to other ad agencies? One, just be yourself. Two, see rule number one, dog.
mm,
Like I would rather be the most authentic and real version of myself than a watered down version of some guru that I follow online. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
think that's where like people fall down is they're going to Chat GPT asking them for the top 25 hooks. I got a hook. Document your life and what you did that day, bro.
Mm,
Talk about what Brock is experiencing as somebody that's in the military, that's trying to create content, that's trying to build like nobody has your story. That's the
mm,
coolest thing ever. And like if you get to talk about that every day, like you're living it, to me, document what you're doing, dog. Like, and that gives you you have as equal level playing field as I do today, dog. That's
mm,
the coolest thing. Like when I first started this game, I looked up to these gurus as if they were like God, right?
mm.
Dude, I got into a point in my career where I'm backstage with every guru that I followed. I'm
Yeah.
backstage hanging out with them, sharing stages with them. I'm like, you're just a dude, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a dude with life problems. Your wife's mad at you. You're dealing with your business. Da 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 da. You're just a guy. And yeah, you have 1 million followers because you started 5 years before me. I'll get there, and maybe I don't. Like maybe that's not where I want to go. And that's what I understand. It was so weird when you meet your heroes. You're like, they're just dudes, and some of them are the coolest dudes ever, and some of them are dicks, bro. And
Mm,
it's just be yourself, man. So it's a level playing field. That's what's cool about technology. Dude, you could literally go become the most savage AI guy on the planet right now and learn more than everybody that's been doing this for the
yep.
past 20 years. Level playing field, right? The next freaking opportunity. That's what I love about it is go learn it, right? And like at the end of the day, you could freaking game up in 90 days, 100 days, dude.
Mm.
So hopefully that answers that question for you.
You ever find yourself getting wrapped up in the followers that you have or the likes that you get?
Say that again, bud.
You ever get wrapped up in how many followers that you're getting daily and how many likes you're getting daily? Like, how do you?
I used to. I used to till this happened, man. I got a video from a guy that checked himself into a hospital room and shot me a video saying a video of mine saved his life that he was going to kill himself that day. And
Mm,
because of one of my pieces of content, he went and checked himself in the hospital. That's the day I quit thinking about likes. Brock, I would rather have one view on a video if it changed somebody's life than
mm,
1,000, than 1 million. I don't care
yeah.
about going viral, I care about impact, dog. And so,
Mm,
like, we make multiple six figures per year off of one channel and it has 10,000 followers. I don't need a
mm,
million, dude. Like I've earned millions of dollars from social media. I don't have 1 million followers. It's the
yeah.
relationship that you create with people, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and some of my lowest performing videos with like 50 or 100 views are the ones where like 20 dudes were like, bro, I needed that.
Mm.
Impact, bro. Impact over vanity metrics all day long, brother.
I think that's the biggest thing I've heard. The saying, I would rather have 10,000 loyal followers than 10,000 just random followers goes a lot farther than the random followers. So I've heard that actually a
Bro, I'd
lot.
rather have 10. I'd rather have 10 lives impacted than 10,000 random followers, brother.
Hmm. Exactly. What are
Mm.
some common mistakes that you made starting out so that way those that want to do what you're doing avoid them?
I think you just nailed it, bro. Paralysis by overanalysis, man. Doing too much chalkboard talk and less action. You can't learn to
Yeah.
surf by sitting on the shore. Get in the water, bro.
Hmm.
Getting in the water. So
Exactly. Well, yeah. Well, I really appreciate having you on. I thank you for the first episode. This is definitely very insightful. Do you have any advice for anyone? Just get in the water.
Let's go do it, dude. Go do it. Take
Well,
action for 100 days, dude. Day 101. Call me.
awesome, dude.